ซึ่งในส่วนของการสรุปประเด็นในวันนี้นะคะดิฉันก็ได้รับเกียรตินะคะจากท่านวีรศักดิ์โคสุรัตน์นะคะที่ปรึกษากิตติมศักดิ์ของเครือข่าย 30 by 30 Thailand Coalition ค่ะเชิญค่ะขอโทษค่ะได้ค่ะ
ขึ้นมาเก้าอี้เต็มมาเลย ไม่เป็นไรฮะ By the time you sail through this final session, I think we can all agree that this is not a simple issue at all. And as someone who has been in Thai politics for over 30 years, I'll say when I need to go to talk about biodiversity to our people, it reminds me every time to see myself. Some 30 years ago, I was raised in a chicken farm 500 miles away from Bangkok. And we realized that so many species of plants and animals gone extinct since then, even starting from during the Vietnam War era. But we're still here. And that's why whenever we start to try to convince people about keeping that biodiversity, people will say, what kind of impact is that going to raise to us, unlike climate change? Can I have the clicker, please? Yeah. I use this photo every time when I speak in the parliament. I'm now a senator, vice chair of the Standing Committee on Environment. And now people are much open to understand the impact of what's going on in global level. COVID-19 shows us for the first time in this generation because the war didn't show us. After the Second World War, we do not think that whatever happened in the world has any impact on us that fast. But COVID-19 took only 4 months before it shut down everything in Bangkok, and it lasts for at least 3.5 years. Then we know that recession is coming after, and we haven't gone through half of it just yet. So it's going to get worse. And then we tend to see that climate change is much bigger wave coming after the recession. But the largest thing at all, I think, is the biodiversity lost. It's just the largest one. So seeing from the point I show that we in Southeast Asia, we host at least 25% of all the species on Earth, and we lost a lot of them already, but we do not see any impact from that. So it's pretty difficult to tell them that what need to be changed to keep the biodiversity rich. But then with these pictures, then they realize the size of the impact that can happen to the world. But it takes a lot of knowledge to understand the impact of biodiversity loss. So one of the quickest example I can draw to them mostly is that, do you realize that there are less bees around in our backyard? And they said, yes. And they got much smaller also. I said, if we do not have bees, who is going to pollinate the plants for us? Then they start to get the picture. Or, well, in terms of biodiversity loss, we can do a lot to understand about the impact of climate change from far above, from a satellite image. But biodiversity loss cannot be seen from any of those sensors. We can detect methane leak from every single place in the world, and we can tell those cities that they should do better with their garbage collection and how they get disposed of. We can also use a lot of statistics to show what kind of climate are changing where and how severe it is, so that we can understand that why people in the closer to the equator do not seem to care that much about the rising of the temperature because it doesn't rise that much. It's the top of the world and the bottom of the Antarctica that has been hit the hardest. In climate change, we developed tools to try to understand the tipping points, and we tend to understand a little bit more of those cycles from times to times, but there's no cycle or tipping points being told in biodiversity loss. Therefore, we do not know how, we may know how high the tide would be, but we do not know when it's going to hit and where, because it can happen anywhere. Well, some of the panelists today in the afternoon talk about marine plastic, and we think it's not going to be possible that we will say no to plastic. It is just the way that we consume plastic that we can change. And that perhaps is one of the quickest and easiest thing one can change in their behavior. That's one of the things that I pose example to our constituency is that have you ever discussed of how your garbage collectors trucks would like you to separate your trash? Because every time when you talk to different academicians, they would keep telling you different things of which go with what, but it's all come down to the person in the bottom of the chain who collect all of those trash in front of your house every week. Usually they come weekly now. And all of them will make some little chain, little catch out of what they collect. Whatever that can be sold, they will sell it. So instead of trying to understand the whole cycle of plastic of the world, why don't you just talk to the person who collect trash in front of your house? Bring a nice clean glass of water to them and ask, how do you want me to separate my trash? Then it will be something that benefit to everyone, including the cities. We have a lot of different issue with plastic in the marine life, but when we talk about biodiversity loss, it will have to go down to the fact that not too many people that I talked to in the last 4 years has any idea that the oxygen we breathe, 67% of them come from the ocean, and it's not from the water itself, it's come from the phytoplankton. And phytoplankton need some food for themselves as well, and the whale, the last 1 million whales going through oceans are the biggest source of food for them. And that's why as someone who used to be Minister of Tourism and Sports of Thailand for 3 times, I keep telling my people in the tourism sector, when you bring people to visit whales, to do whale watch, instead of waiting for an hour, because it usually take about an hour from the shore out to the place where the whales come up and eat. Why don't you tell them the story of why are we here to see the whale? It's not because it's so cuddling, so cute, it's so big, and they're harmless. None of that. We want to go there to pay respect to them, because they are the one who are the biggest gardener doing that part of the job for free, because the whale poo is the largest source of food for the plankton. And planktons are the one who turn carbon dioxide back into oxygen, and that's what we need to breathe. So see, in order to get the issue about biodiversity losing to go down to the people level, it takes a lot of understanding and a good example. Just like Pravit said, tell them good example, and then they will adapt to whatever they need to. I agree to Chris that regulators and government need to do their job to understand how to talk to their people, how to work with the regulations. And I agree with many of our business people, Global Compact for good example, that let's bring more on board and try to work on our supply chain. And if we can force our supply chain to change, it will go pretty deep. So those are all I think that with the no further ado, you've been here for all day. Let me conclude by saying that it's a long way to go. The biggest tools that we need to use is communication. If we can't make them understand, they will not cooperate. I do have some prepared sentence that I would like to read out for you out loud. It said that how do you put a price on saving the earth? We are putting trillions of dollars to rescue our economies, our countries, to save our communities. But healthy and prosperous communities also depend on a healthy planet. The food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, they all depend on nature. So how do we ensure the investments we make now are good for the future? We dug into the numbers, we can have great thriving economies and a thriving planet, but we need some change. We will have to stop investing in ways that degrade the planet. Get creative with new investments from both the public and private sectors. And we have to spend the money we have more efficiently, putting our money to work for people and nature. We can't return to business as usual. It's time to do better. It's time to be better. It's time for nature. And do it now. Thank you ขอบคุณครับ
ขอบพระคุณมากค่ะท่านวีรศักดิ์นะคะช่างเป็นบทสรุปที่สวยงามนะคะแล้วก็เป็น take home message ที่ดีสำหรับเรากลับบ้านนะคะท้ายที่สุดในวันนี้นะคะยังมีประเด็นที่เราอยากจะสรุปก่อนที่เราจะแยกย้ายกันกลับไปนะคะดิฉันอยากขอเชิญดร.วิจารณ์สิมาฉายานะคะผู้อำนวยการสถาบันสิ่งแวดล้อมไทยขึ้นสู่บนเวทีค่ะช่วยกล่าวเกี่ยวกับข้อคิดเห็นและบทสรุปของการจัดงานวันนี้เพื่อเตรียมความพร้อมเข้าสู่ COP16 CBD ค่ะเชิญค่ะ
Okay, thank you very much, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank Senator for you already conclude how important of the biodiversity. On behalf of TI, as co-organizing committee, I would like to express my sincere appreciation for the support, especially for AFD. Today, that's why we have very important event talk about how important of the finance and biodiversity. The work we have done so far, especially we have learned from various sectors that they have worked with the biodiversity, especially from the policy organization to the implementation at the agency level. At the same time, we still have some question, especially how we simplify biodiversity, especially translate scientific information of biodiversity in the people in general, especially for the decision making. I think it's very important for us to continue work on this important issue. TI as Secretariat of Thailand Business Council for Sustainable Development, we also work. We just brought biodiversity issue into the Thailand Business Council for Sustainable Development group that we are going to work closely with the task force on nature related to finance disclosure platform and also to monitor information on these important issue. Currently, we are discussing with the ASEAN Center for Biodiversity how we can work together, especially in the area of ASEAN Business and Biodiversity Initiative, aim to enhance and cooperation among ASEAN member countries. This is also very important issue. Very soon, TI going to host with the Thailand Business Council for Sustainable Development and also BEDO on the issue of the business for biodiversity event. Those who interest can join us on the March 22nd in Central World maybe. Let check it out and then we can move forward and learn more how important on the biodiversity, how the business sector can get involved. Together we have learned and I'm not conclude since we already learned very important issue on biodiversity. This is also a very new issue for many organizations. What we have done so far, especially for the work together, I think would be a good start for our country, for our region on the finance for biodiversity. I myself on our organizing agency would like to thank all of you, especially our guest speaker from various agency, various company join us today. Thank you very much.
ขอบคุณมากค่ะลำดับถัดไปนะคะที่ฉันขอเรียนเชิญดร.ธัญพรนะคะกฤติทัยวุฒินะคะผู้อำนวยการสมาคมเครือข่าย Global Compact แห่งประเทศไทยนะคะท่านให้ท่านจบดีกว่านะคะโอเคค่ะงั้นนิ่มขอท่านอีกท่านหนึ่งขึ้นมาจบนิดนึงนะคะท่านคนนี้สำคัญมากนะคะท่านสิริพรนะคะตอนนี้นะคะศรีอารามนะคะช่วยกล่าวสรุปนิดนึงนะคะว่าจากบทเรียนที่เราได้ในวันนี้เนี่ยนะคะเป็นยังไงนะคะ
อย่าเรียกท่านนะคะเหากินหัวค่ะวินะคะก็ขอบคุณทุกคนนะคะที่วันนี้ได้มาเข้าร่วมกันก็จากประสบการณ์ในการทำงานกับภาคเอกชนมาจริงๆหลายปีมากเนาะก็คิดว่าเรามาถึงจุดที่ค่อนข้างจะสำคัญเลยเพราะเราเหลือเวลาอีกแค่7ปีในการบรรลุเป้าหมายทั้งหลายแหล่คิดว่า SDG 17 ข้อเป้าหมาย17ข้อเนี่ยคนค่อนข้างจะคุ้นเคยอย่างมากเลยแต่ว่าเป้าหมายของกรอบงานคุณหมิง Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework sorry it doesn't work anymore โอเคงั้นขออนุญาตสลับเป็นภาษาอังกฤษนะคะ so actually we only have 7 years left to reach the target of the Global Biodiversity Framework. Most of people already aware about SDG 17 goal, but we still have much work to do to give the awareness, education, and tell people what is the 23 target of the GBF. And I think this is not a one-person job. It's not a government job. It's not NGO job. It's everybody's job. Because we need to live, we need to survive, we need to eat for food. And if nature gone, economy gone, same as our survival. So I would like to also thank everybody to make the time to be here to learn. And I hope that you can also share also what you learn among your peers. And if you need a support, Burian Song, very thank you AFD, ONEP, TI, and all the partners to give myself on a team to work together with you on this extremely important topic. And I would like to thank GCNT as well as a collaborator to help promote this event beforehand among your network. Very much appreciate.
Thank you so much ค่ะ และท้ายสุดในวันนี้นะคะมิมขอเรียนเชิญท่านชองปีแอร์มาเลเช่นะคะผู้อำนวยการภูมิภาคเอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้สำนักเพราะมิมแป๊บนึงนะคะขอโทษเดี๋ยวมิมจะพูดภาษาอังกฤษอีกรอบหนึ่งนะคะแต่ว่าดูท่านเข้าใจนะคะสำนักงานเพื่อการพัฒนาแห่งสาธารณรัฐฝรั่งเศสขอเชิญขึ้นบนเวทีค่ะ Now I would like to invite you to be or you prefer to speak here โอเคค่ะ
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guest, Mr. Senator, representative from the government, private sector, financial sector, think tanks, civil society, all partners of Infobio, Sawadee Krab. Today, we heard a lot about financial gaps, subsidies, education, customers, biodiversity metrics, what is biodiversity compared to climate. But I think that also during this forum, we concretely saw that biodiversity is not only an ecological issue, it's an economic challenge with dependency, risk, opportunities, but also innovation for better market value, for better access to export and attractiveness of foreign direct investment. We talk about early movers compared to followers. We talk about innovation compared to business as usual. We talk about the sufficiency, economic philosophy on bio-circular economy compared to non-sustainable growth. This was about tourism, agro-industry, green finance, of course, construction, urban development, so many sectors which are so dear to Thai people and Thai economy. We took good note of the actual dependency of the financial sector on biodiversity with the Silent Spring study of the Banque de France. We are secured with the nature-based strategy, so national biodiversity strategy action plan of Monterey to mitigate those risks and to improve the situation of the country, of the private sector, and the financial institution. Then this Thai forum by Thai stakeholders with their international partners particularly highlighted. So the Thailand readiness, or at least interest, to integrate biodiversity in a sustainable, competitive, and attractive economy. Thank you to UNEP, to NESDC, to Global Compact, to TI, to Blue Renaissance, to ADB, to ESCAP, and to Your Excellency, Mr. Senator, for your support and brilliant, presentation. A shared ambition also of France with a potential strategic partnership between our two countries for biodiversity or for a sustainable economy. Together, of course, with our partners from ADB, from the UN family, again, Global Compact. Thank you to all of them for this sharing and invitation to build together a better and more innovative economy and nature for the next generation. Two examples were also given of international best practice to better assess, disclose, and mitigate risk. We have clear example of business cases, although I understood that those examples were not, I would say, numerous enough, and you need more evidences. We'll provide them with those evidences from Latin America, from Asia, from Europe. In this respect, the best of good practice, or I say best practices, which was circulated today for the first time, is only a first try. It's only a first edition, and I'm sure it will evolve further to better inform, give more examples from everywhere in the world on the lesson learned, and to try to share with you benchmarks from Asia and beyond. But finally, and at first, I would say that this one-year process, which prepared today's forum, adopted a set of practical recommendations towards a nature-positive economy, namely those recommendations, the 6 recommendations of this forum, welcoming the development of biodiversity taxonomy, promoting assessment and disclosure of business risk, dependency and the impact on biodiversity, supporting the introduction of incentives and financial mechanisms, ensuring that the biodiversity-related data, knowledge and capacity building will be available and accessible, promoting actions to reduce biodiversity losses, and at last, the 6th one, collaborating with businesses and financial institutions to raise awareness. So what can we do of such an asset, of this amazing month of works to deliver through consultation, dialogue between main stakeholders of the business community, governmental organization, think tanks, again, development partners, so many, this family in this room. So the decision belongs at first to you, dear partners, from ONEP, from the Business Association, from Global Compact, from all the Thai partners. This was your forum with the dedicated, efficient support of TI, of Blue Renaissance, that I wish to warmly thank again, really. We could already recommend at first to initiate an immediate process of implementing the long discussed and negotiated above said 6 recommendations, to turn those recommendations into an action plan, the Bangkok Action Plan. Indeed, Thailand has a luxury of its biodiversity resource to leverage it into an asset, a national agenda. And this is not impossible because impossible is not Thai. Then we could also assess if further actions and steps could be considered in capacity building, so actually to enrich this agenda of Bangkok with further recommendations and to turn them into an action plan. To this respect, a dedicated task force could be initiated to deliver on it. AFD with France, together with the forum co-organizer, ONEP and all partners, will stand next to you. I wish, by the way, to recommend that it has been just said, a side event which will take place at ESCAP Thursday on actually replicating at the Asia-Pacific scale the finding of today's forum. Maybe, why not, seriously thinking about taking this promising today agenda to the next COP16 to show Thailand exemplary move towards nature-positive economy and highlight the innovative and attractive ambition Thailand wish in the global economy for its future. ขอบคุณนะครับ
ขอบคุณค่ะ Thank you so much. Such a wonderful and very impressive ค่ะ